I am in Palm Beach Gardens on PGA Boulevard. As you can hear, there are a lot of supporters in the street. There are a lot of supporters standing around me, and I'm gonna see if we can talk to some of them. So, what specifically brings you out to the protest today?
I just don't understand what's happened to the country. It's unbelievable. The hatred, the division, the stripping down of all the things that are important to this country that made it what it is. We've been financially destroying this country for the last 44 years, taking every cent out of it we can and giving it to the mega wealthy and giant tax breaks and the giant corporations. And people wonder why America has no money. It's because we don't collect taxes anymore from the people that can afford them most. That's essentially it. That's one of the main reasons out here. And because of all the hatred and the illegal stuff that Trump and his whole administration is doing. It's just, if a Democrat was doing this, you'd have the same turnout from the Republicans as you're having today. If they were blowing up boats, if they were closing down things that were important, taking money out of bills that were already passed and funding aid and all different kinds of things. If it was on the other hand, the Republicans would be out of here, but because they're in the Trump cult, unfortunately, they don't care. It doesn't matter what he says. It's very scary. I was telling my son the other day on a phone call that I'm a little depressed. I'm worried. I'm worried for our country more than I've ever been in my entire life.
What do you think is like the biggest threat to our democracy with this current administration?
I think this military overtaking that they're doing now is just practice for the elections, for the midterms. So they're going to get people used to the military being on the street. Then they'll surround all the polls. There's already a new company, I think, bought Dominion Voting, right? So that's going to could be a problem. And then the giant companies that bought CBS, right? They're going to take CBS News. 60 Minutes will be, not now, but someday they'll probably have 60 Minutes News will be a puff piece for Trump and his things and, the hate wars he stopped and all that crap. So,
Do you want to share your name?
Sure. My name's Raphael.
What specifically brought you out to the protest today?
Standing up for our democracy, standing up for the rights of everybody in this country. As the descendant of a very diverse group of immigrants that came to this country over a few different decades, it is just offensive to me that we are vilifying immigration, that we are making a statement about what our country's for and who we're about by victimizing people. And it's just the wrong way to go about it. We are a nation of laws and we should remain a nation of laws, but what is happening in our country right now is just not acceptable. It's scary.
What do you think is the biggest threat to our democracy right now with this current administration?
The Congress isn't standing up. I mean, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick what it is, but the Congress seems to be paralyzed. SCOTUS is scaring me with the decisions that have been made, particularly in the past few years. But the Congress is seemingly complicit and has abdicated a lot of their power. And to me, that is our most, our checks and balances are the way we prevent this sort of thing. And those are not being put into effect. Like everyone talks about our founding fathers. This is what they didn't want to see happen. And that's what's happening. And we need to demand that Congress steps up and does what it's there to do.
The rhetoric in this current administration often divides the country into supporters or the enemy. Has that language kind of changed how you interact with people on the other side?
I'm much more thoughtful about what I say, but I do try to thoughtfully and even compassionately engage people that I know disagree with me, because I feel like if we don't have a dialogue, we're never going to bridge the divide. I am on social media, but the only thing I ever put there right now is like rainbows and unicorns and, happy stuff. I was sharing, as an antidote to all the negativity, I was trying to share my favorite love songs over the past few weeks, like just trying to add some levity. But I think that's part of the problem, is that people are engaging on a digital platform that is not at all conducive. It actually erodes dialogue. And I feel like things like what you do to bring voices to people, to source people's opinions and share them and having conversations, protests are great, but I really wish that we could find a way that we could sit across the table from 100 Trump supporters and have a thoughtful, not shouting, not angry discussion about what we want. And I would bet money that there are 9 out of 10 issues we agree on. And we have been pulled apart and separated about how we think we need to solve those problems. I mean, I talk to everybody. I have friends who disagree strongly with me about some of my viewpoints or things that I advocate for. But we do agree that we need to change things and we need to fix things. I think what I will never tolerate, can't tolerate, I think most of us would agree, is racism and bigotry. And that should always be a non-negotiable. It's unfortunate that that has been thrust into the conversation, or invited into the conversation, I should say. Many in leadership are using that as fuel to motivate people, and it's just fear-driven. It's all about fear. And I think that if people are afraid, that people are in the process of othering, we're never going to have a meaningful dialogue. We just need to calm down and think about why we're all in this country and work on making it continue along that trajectory that we are on. Seems like we've paused or maybe even gone backwards, but I think we need to just keep going forward, and we'll get to where we really know we can be as a nation.
You mentioned that we know that it's not working, there's a problem. Do you have any thoughts on the Democratic Party not really saying that there is a problem to be solved? They kind of seem to sometimes just, well, maybe a little tweak here or there, but overall the system works.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much vitriol. I mean, I feel like a lot of our elected officials are not wanting to inject more anger and more venom, but that's like, if the fight has gotten dragged down into the mud, and we don't want to get in the mud. I don't want to see that happen. I don't even know where that could begin at the elected level. I think it needs to begin with us. And I think we need to have meaningful conversations with each other first, find common ground, in your neighborhood, on your porch, and start there. I really think we need to start there. I live in West Palm. We live in a diverse neighborhood. There's a lot of opinions, but somehow we all kind of get on with it. And I think that's the important thing. That's why I'm here today.
What is your sign?
We pluribus unum, out of many one. That's what this country's all about.